need to look at EVs and why Honda, working with GM, might just bring the entire EV revolution down. But before we understand that, we need to look at the hybrid revolution and the hybrid era, which we're still in. Right? So you may know the two main automakers of the hybrid revolution was Toyota with the Toyota Prius and Honda with the Insight, right? So it was the Toyota Prius versus the Honda Insight. Now, believe you me, the first gens of both cars were very, very, very different vehicles. Again, Toyota was first. They were first, right? Toyota made the car first. This was the car that they made in 1998. Honda came out with their car in 1999, right? So this car technically was the first hybrid, right? Even though it was not sold in America, it was out before the Insight. Now, this was the first generation Insight, the first Insight they ever made in this weird 90s background. Now, you may notice why this was the first ever Duke-Off, right? Honda expected no sales from the Insight. It was just, we need to make a car as efficient as possible. And Toyota said, we need to make this car for the masses and make it an actual viable option for families. This is what we got. Now, in this first battle, this is the first ever battle between two hybrids, the Toyota Prius and the Honda Insight. Meanwhile, GM was working on their Tahoes and their bigger vehicles, which would come back to bite them in the ass, right? So, Toyota, neither of these had any idea of what was coming in 2008, the gigantic economic crash. They had no idea this was going to be happening. This was just to test the technology. So, the Honda Insight and Toyota Prius went battling up against each other, bang, bang, in the US to see which one would sell better. That was the Prius. Why? For one simple reason. In the 90s, people like sedans. This is a 4-door sedan. This is a 2-door coupe, which is already strange enough. Yeah. Also, the Toyota Prius had a screen, standard, right? So that drew some people in, right? They were like, oh, well, that's nice. It has a screen, right? Because flat screen TVs were still, like, a lot of families still had flat tube TVs. They didn't have LCDs yet. I mean, we had the technology, but they weren't incredibly common. So to have one of those in a mass production car drew a lot of people in for the Prius. Meanwhile, the Insight, the Insight just wasn't great. They never really thought it out. Well, here, 1999. Let's just do 2000, yeah. They never really thought it out. You know, it doesn't have a screen. It just looks like a plain old 90s car. So while the Honda was a sports coupe from a company that people don't like sports coupes from, aside from the S2000, in a bland, boring 90s style, and the Toyota Prius was so bland and boring that it fit in with everyone else, right? So the Prius was just this kind of small little blip in Toyota's lineup. Some people talked about it. It wasn't really talked about how revolutionary it really was. Just because it was hiding this gigantic leap in technology was hiding behind a consumer veil to hide it in this standard, platform, right? 2004 rolls around. By the way, this was the concept car. I think that looks way better than the actual Prius, but, just my opinion. So, 2004 rolls around. The Insight is, well, still kind of here, right? 2004, 2005. Let's just look at the Insight. 2005, the Insight is still around. 2006, the Insight is still around. And 2007, the Insight is gone. That's right. Honda killed off the Insight in 2007. So the Insight story stops at 2006, but will resume very shortly. Let's move to 2004 for the Toyota Prius, the second generation. Now, Toyota took this great frame that they built the original Prius on and made this car. Now, to the naked eye, it just seems like, that Prius. It's just a Prius. Who cares about it? But to every other person in the market, they saw that this was going to cause a rift, huge, throughout the market. First of all, it started off at about $30,000 today. That's a really, really, really good price. Second of all, it's cute. Teenagers would like it, right? It's just amazing. And essentially, when the Honda Insight during this time looked like this frog coupe ugly thing, and the Toyota Prius looked like this gorgeous, masterful design thing, no wonder it won, right? They made it a more practical hatchback, which was great because a lot of hatchbacks were starting to catch on, hot hatches. They gave it these nice aerodynamic wheels, kind of, giving it hints at durability and just making it look like a beautiful car. They also gave it this nice friendly butt. It had a very, very friendly butt. Just nice, happy, a lot of space. In the interior, they did the same thing they did the last time. Now, you might think, well, Toyota's trickery only works once. Nope, it worked again. You can see they gave you that little cassette radio there, right? Your screen, no matter what trim level it was, you got a screen, right? And again, they did the Scion, the Scion branding. Scion started in 2006, and in 2004, it was already being talked about. So they made one Prius. There was only one trim level. And then there was the Prius Touring. There was like 3 trim levels, right? It wasn't 1, 2, 3, and 4. No. It was the Prius, which was the base one, the Prius base, the Toyota Prius without the base, right? And then the Toyota Prius Touring, right? So the Prius, not the Prius base, the Prius got this navigation system. So did the Touring, right? The Touring got leather seats, the Prius did not, right? The cheaper Prius, which was the the bargain one, which it's like, oh yeah, I have a car. Oh, it's a Prius. Got this, right? No navigation and no buttons on the steering wheel. That's the easiest way to tell Priuses apart from each other, right? So this is exactly what Toyota came out with. Now, why did Honda discontinue the Insight while the Prius was doing so well? Because Honda had better things to work on. I mean, they thought everything was going to be going great, right? They thought, hey, we're just going to be swimming for the rest of our lives, so we're just going to discontinue the Insight, work on something new, maybe make a hybrid Accord to fight with the Prius. Let's at least give it one competitor. Well, Toyota wasn't done selling yet, right? So for 2006, they gave it a better dash material that didn't fall apart and blow away in the wind, and they also gave it a very, very, very minimal touch. Wait, no, did they give it yet? No. Here. In 2006, they gave it, on the nicer models, the higher trim level ones, which they hadn't previously done before, this little silver grille right there. So instead of just having the base Prius, usual crap, it had the really nice, the classy silver grille, right? Which just made it look all then much nicer. They made it look great, right? 2008 rolls around, and now they know about the economic crash, right? They know something big is going to be happening. Something big is on the way. Something is going to disturb the entire car market. It's going to be like the Great Depression. We're not going to be able to sell cars. And Toyota saw this coming. So they knew this Prius wasn't going to be able to start alone. And in 2008, they started development of the 3rd gen Prius. Meanwhile, Honda was just kind of sleeping, right? In 2009, Honda crapped out this thing. This ugly duckling. Now, before we talk about why that sucked so much, let's look at the 2009 Prius, right? Now, this Prius, you may think, is the 2009 model, right? Because, that's how it is. It's the 2009 model. No, this model, the 2009 Toyota Prius, was actually sold in 2008 as a 2009 model. And then it was also sold in 2009 as a 2009 model. But this car, the 3rd generation, was sold at the very tippy end of 2009 as a 2010 model. Like when they launch a new car, they always do it a year ahead, right? So this was the 2010 Toyota Prius, not the 2009 Toyota Prius, even though it was sold in 2009, right? So Honda really expected this, right? They knew Toyota was going to refresh the Prius, so they came out swinging, right? They were like, you want to know what? We are going to swing with every pitch. We're going to create the nicest car we know how to create. We are going to be better than the Prius for the first time in our lives, right? We're going to give it this stylish design, more stylish than the old Prius. We're going to rip off the back and give it a friendly face as well. And we're going to make it have a screen if you want it and look cool, We're going to make it profitable for teens, Well, they had no idea just exactly how good the Prius would be. They had zero idea. First of all, the Prius had this interior. Just look at it. When Honda tried to sell the teens, they did this, right? This was what they did. They just kind of did Honda. So double-decker gauge display that, people didn't really like. And also, these cars were like $30,000 today. No respectable teenager, well, not no respectable teenager, very respectable teenager, No normal teenager is going to have $30,000 to blow on their first car. So already marketing to children is stupid, right? They're not going to have the money to buy this car. This is a luxury, nice car, especially back in 2009, right? Third of all, the people who are buying this car are not going to like this rugged, weird design and this weird double-decker thing. And also, the Prius, just beat it. Look at it. It's a normal, plain, nice interior with a screen. This was the navigation package. That was rare. Yeah. So Honda really thought they were going to beat the Prius. They had no idea just how much of Toyota relied on this Prius. Which means if Toyota relies on something, they're not just gonna crap something out. They're gonna think of it. The Prius got this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful design with fog lights down there. Your blinkers were down there. These nice, beautiful LED headlights on the 5 models. Beautiful, recognizable rims, and this friendly face for 2010. Now, that economic crash, we were just getting out of it, right? They said we can't afford to redesign the Prius right now. We're gonna sell it in 2009 because, you know, people weren't buying cars. So we might as well stick with the older design for a little bit. They came out with this in 2009, and it was a smash hit. One of the best-selling models of Prius ever. The Honda didn't sell. Plain and simple. No one wanted a Honda. First of all, it had these 90s door handles, which just looked out of place on a car this expensive. Second of all, it had 4 lug nut wheels on a car that Honda. Even the Civic has 5 lug nuts. What is this, a Fit? I mean, come on. The Prius had 5 lug nuts, which just... Buyers say it doesn't matter. It does. 5 lug nuts is just better. On all cars, 3 lug nuts is okay. 4 is an abomination. Just do 5. Just do 5. Just do it. I don't even care if you can't fit 5. I don't care if the wheel is so small. I don't care if it's a shopping cart. 5 lug nuts. That's the standard, right? The Prius had these nice, stylish, sleek body lines. Oh, the inside kind of looked like mashed potatoes, you know. I mean, some people bought it. And also, this car didn't last. IMA was a very sucky technology, and it did not last. Like, the Civic Hybrid was really the thing. You know, Honda came out with the Civic Hybrid just because it's like, well, they're built on the same platform. We might as well make a hybrid Civic. Everyone bought the hybrid Civic. No one wanted the Insight. Yeah. Just not a good car, Honda. No one wanted it. And this solution to not coming out with navigation is sucky. I mean, that's low down dirty, Honda. Really, just put it there. Don't make this. Ugh, weird. So yeah, you can see the Honda Insight failed, and the Toyota prevailed. Right? In 2016, Toyota updated the Prius. In 2016, the Insight was... bleh. It was just a concept. You know, they were like, we might bring this back. You know, 2016, they were looking at either redoing the old Insight or bringing this new concept, right? So this was what the concept's interior looked like. This is actually what it ended up looking like in 2017, I believe. Yeah. No. 2018? What year did they release this thing? Nope, not in 2018 either. Wait, was it? Yep, 2018. No, I think it's 2019. We'll just say it's 2018. Yeah. Yep, nope, 2019. So the Honda only returned the Insight in 2019 for very stupid reasons. Essentially, no one liked that generation of Accord, so they brought back this thing to kind of, it's a hybrid. But they brought it back in 2019 where being a hybrid wasn't even special anymore. I mean, every car had a hybrid version. The Insight being only hybrid meant nothing. No one really cared. And in 2019, the Prius started losing sales. Toyota didn't really give a damn anymore, so they just said, it'll do, Chief. It'll do, Chief. And yet, this still outsold the Insight, even with the Insight being arguably a better car. I love Toyota so much. So, yeah, this was the original hybrid wars, right? Toyota won the original hybrid wars, but now we're in the EV wars. So how is Toyota doing? You may think Toyota is going to come off swinging, they're going to get to bat, they're going to swing, and swing and a miss. That's what you're thinking. Because the Toyota BZ4X was their first ever hybrid. This weird hybrid crossover. Now you may think Toyota swung and missed, right? That's what you think. You think Toyota took their bat and they swung, the ball went straight past them. The guy caught it and they're like, 3 strikes, you're out. And this is a second EV. No. Toyota only made the BZ4X to say that they had an EV. Toyota knows EVs suck. Everyone knows EVs suck. EVs, first of all, they're not sustainable because of the batteries. They use child slave labor to get the minerals to put in the batteries, which, yes, that's still a thing. And the power grid really cannot sustain these. People like to tell you that they are. Anyone who has lived through a major blackout, like the one that we experienced in 2008, will know exactly how bad brownouts are. Some people were left power without weeks, and that was just because of some stupid mistake. I mean, granted, they got fined millions of dollars for it, but, just some stupid mistake. And also, you may think, oh, well, we can just upgrade the power grid with more coal, again, a not renewable resource, to power this also not renewable resource. EVs suck. So when Toyota came up with the BZ4X, they said, hey, we don't want to make this car. We have to make this car, right? They had to. So what their CEO did, this was very clever. They announced all these EVs, like, oh yeah, we're going to make 1,000 different EVs by 20,800,000,075, right? That's what their CEO announced. Why? So that everyone could clap like seals, or EVs, or EVs, so that everyone could clap like seals at Toyota for making an EV. And you may say, well, Toyota's late to the game. Toyota's not showing up to the game. This isn't where the game is. I'll show you where the game is in a minute. Honda. You think Toyota was slow? They came out with this thing in like 2022. Honda's just now coming out with their first EV. I know. And you may think, well, Toyota's very, very, like, this is the first EV Toyota's ever made. You're wrong. You're 100% wrong. Toyota, back when they still thought that EVs were going to be a renewable resource, this just shows how much Toyota actually cares about renewable resources. When people said that EVs would be a renewable resource, back in 2010, they made a RAV4 EV. That's right. They made a RAV4 EV in 2010. How long ago is that? Toyota's not late to the game. Toyota invented the game. Toyota's been here forever. Toyota just left the game. Why? Because they're having a football game watch party down the street, which is way more fun than the EV game. Toyota didn't swing and miss. Toyota's already on home base. They're already running back to the dugout now. They're running back to doing something they actually want. They've already made EVs in the past, and good ones at that. This BZ4X is just to fill a quota. And guess what? Because Toyota owns a lot of Subaru didn't want to make an EV either under the guise of Toyota, right? Subaru wanted to go all EV. Toyota said, hey, this kind of sucks. Do you want to just take our EV? And Subaru said, okay. So, yeah, the Subaru Solterra is the Toyota BZ4X. And so is the Lexus RZ. I don't even care to show you that to you because it's just so boring. But now, Honda is coming out with their first EV. The Honda Prologue. Now, despite it sounds like something that goes wrong with a lot of older gentlemen, prostate, yeah, it just looks ugly. Now, this car looks ugly, and it doesn't look like a Honda. And you can see its steering wheel doesn't look like a... Is this GM? That's right. That's right. This is a rebadging of the GM EV platform. And it's not the Volt or the Bolt, it's this. This damn platform. That's right. This car, so essentially, right, the Acura version is going to be based off the Cadillac. The Honda version is going to be based off of the Chevrolet. Yep, that's right. Honda's now openly using GM parts, right? So Toyota, again, you saw how long it took them to actually make Lexus. Like, they can't launch a car brand on their own. To make this EV, they're not at the game. They don't care. They don't want to make an EV. So what they did was they just spread it across all the brands and said that's okay. Honda wants to go full EV, which means they're forced to rely on someone. This means Honda is now dependent on GM. That's right. Now, you may say, well, Honda is just using that platform and they're building an all-new everything. No. No. This is a rebadge. This isn't using the same platform. Yes, they use the same platform because they're the same car. Honda's using the same steering wheel. Honda's using the same climate controls. Yeah. It's just a rebadge. I know. That's it. That's all it is. The steering wheel. Look at it. It's the same damn one. Honda is now reliant on GM, which is about the worst thing you can do, because if you know GM, you know how much they suck. GM sucks. They can't even pull their own weight nowadays. And Chevrolet was the latest to the hybrid party, right? Everyone is looking at Toyota and saying, you're not making EVs, a fake renewable resource. We want more EVs. Why didn't you point the finger at Chevrolet or any GM company for not making a hybrid during the hybrid wars of the early 2010s? No, because this isn't actually about sustainability. This is about people wanting to make money off of EVs. This is really what that's about. Do you think EVs are actually about saving the planet? It's openly talked about in the EV community about how they are not a renewable resource. You really think those same people, the scientists, the supposed scientists who worked on EV technology, didn't know that it was not going to be renewable? They absolutely know that. They're trying to ring you for everything you have. The reason why Toyota's not in the EV party is because they don't want to jump in the cesspool, because they know they're not going to be able to get back out. Toyota doesn't give a damn about EVs. You want to know what Toyota's been working on? The Mirai. That's right. Hydrogen is a renewable resource. Hydrogen is the answer. Now, you may say, oh, well, you're going to have explosion tanks. Explosion tanks underneath your everything. So, what do you think about that? Well, you know, some scientists have actually figured out a way to use the moisture in the air, convert that to hydrogen, and then run the engine off of that. And you may say, well, it stores it all in the battery, so those battery compartments are still going to be non-renewable. Well, guess what? Toyota's working on a solid-state battery, which doesn't use any rare earth minerals or child slavery. Well, it's still going to be running on the power grid. No, it's not. No, it's not. And you won't have to charge it for hours. You just fill it up. Now, the first ever Mirai was based off the Prius in 2016, and it's only sold in California. This is the answer. We found it. We have the answer. Now, you may say, well, Sloth, if we've had the answer for this long, then why haven't we moved to it yet? Because they don't actually care about it being renewable. They care about the money. How come people have not figured this out yet? The reason why we're not all driving Mirais and why the EV infrastructure is growing so much and the hybrid infrastructure and the hydrogen infrastructure isn't growing at all is because of the money. Do you know how many government subsidies they give out for EVs, making EVs? So much dollars. So many. So much dollars. So much money. So much. An unbelievable amount. That's why they're not making, because EVs are profitable to them, not for you. They're not the climate answer. No, they're profitable to them. And you may be thinking, oh, the Mirai was a failed project. They still make it today. That's right. The Mirai never died. They still make the Mirai. In fact, the Mirai was one of the first ever cars to show this new Toyota architecture. You know, this gigantic screen over here. It's JBL custom, a lot of things. A great car. Why are we not moving to hydrogen? Because no one cares about the hydrogen. And Honda, being their ignorant self. Now, you may say, how is Honda being ignorant? Because Honda is like Mabel Pines, right, from Gravity Falls. I'm gonna save the world with my EV platform. Thank you, GM, for letting me use it. First of all, the GM EV platform sucks. I mean, it sucks. It is possibly the least reliable thing in history, which means Honda's gonna lose credit for being reliable. Second of all, it's not gonna drive like a Honda. It's not gonna feel like a Honda. It's not going to be a Honda, because it's just a GM. That's all it is. It's a, you know, people often refer to the 1990s GM SUVs as GM lump. You know, like, yeah, the Suburban, the whatever, the Tahoe, the GMC, whatever the hell. You know, just GM garbage lump. Just a lump of GM copycat, same platform using, Cheeto dust finger touched, ugly 90s cars. This new EV platform is the new GM lump. This is not Honda. This is a lump of GM just right on the table, like a solid tungsten weight. That's what this is, just more GM lump. It's still the same crap. It's still the same shit. They haven't changed it, right? This was the GM lump of the 1990s. This was the GM lump of the 2020s. Yeah. And this is the GM lump of the 2024s. Honda should absolutely not make the prologue with GM, because Toyota has won so much from the hybrids. They've profited so much from all of this. They're their own car company. Now, you may not understand what I mean. Well, Sloth, you're such an idiot. You're getting all of this wrong, right? Toyota's been their own car company for years. I mean, Honda couldn't figure out how to make an EV on their own, so they had to rely on Chevrolet. Toyota is so big that they have Subaru, Lexus, other car brands that they own that they can fall back on if they need to make an EV with better EV programs than Toyota has. Toyota is so big, they just whipped up an EV like that. They're like, you want to know what? And I'm sure the BZ4X is better than whatever GM is trying to peddle now, right? Toyota made a hydrogen vehicle, an all-new type of car. An all-new type of car. In 2016. Meanwhile, first of all, Chevrolet can't figure out EVs because, they're catching on fire and falling apart. They can't even figure out combustion engine vehicles. Honda apparently couldn't figure out an EV because, they're trying to have to use Chevrolet, and then Honda couldn't admit that they were wrong about IMA, so they kept selling an outdated car for way too long and then ended up hating it so much that it got laughed into embarrassment. Toyota's just going to win. Toyota's not swinging. Toyota doesn't care. And you may say, well, Volvo and Polestar are making EVs. That is regrettable, and you know Volvo EVs aren't going well. Everyone knows that. But Volvo is kind of a different car company. Now, you may say, well, you're covering for a car company that you like. Yeah. Now, what I mean by Volvo exists in a vacuum, Toyota is on the front lines. Toyota, GM, and Honda are on the front lines fighting with each other. We have the most market share. No, we have the most market share. No, we have the most reliable cars. No, we have the most reliable cars. Toyota's been winning for decades, centuries now. Volvo's in a bubble. Volvo's not competing with any... Volvo's competing with the ultra-luxury car brands, and Volvo's doing so well that it doesn't matter if it's winning, it's just bringing in the cash. You know what I mean? Like, Volvo is not selling to the same people that Toyota's selling to. Volvo is selling to the ultra-rich and middle-class, very upper-middle-class people with their EVs. So, Volvo doesn't really care. They really don't. They're like, we can come out with some EVs. Polestar, great EV company. Buy them over at Tesla any day. We'll come out with just some EVs. Some buyers will buy them, some won't. That'll be okay for us. We'll be fine, Meanwhile, there's such a push for the big three. Yes, I said it, which is GM, Toyota, and Honda. Those are the new big three. Because Chrysler is dilapidated and dead, and Ford is in its own little vacuum right now. So, yeah. In all, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And this is why this EV revolution sucks.